the beauty of Bitcoin, is that it's a truly decentralized, peer-to-peer way of maintaining and holding value.
So something I've been wondering about that kind of has to do with, you mentioned some people kind of do have control in some cases over the cryptocurrencies. How does it work with updates? So I know like the code isn't
Yep.
static, like there is
Yep.
revisions which can be made and how it operates. Like how would that be enacted if it is decentralized?
So the way it's done is depending on, let's just take the proof of stake titled model. It's done by a governance mechanism where the people who have the most coins staked are able to have a higher say, in the same way that maybe shareholders in the company, the people with the most shares, can get to say how the company is managed. But they do that without like kind of a typical hierarchical structure. It's based on simple governance structure that is created within the network, the cryptocurrency network in this case. And at that point, they can say, look, we want to upgrade, we want to have certain capabilities. And the governance system votes on it. And depending if they want it or not, they implement it. So Ethereum has been upgraded recently, right? And most people who had the old Ethereum, they would like to transfer it to the new Ethereum because it has better capabilities, for example, in the smart contract technology. But in the case of Bitcoin, that's actually already hardwired into the code so that every 4 years, the number of coins produced drops by half, and thereby creating a kind of a deflationary currency or digital asset. I want to call it a digital asset rather than a currency because it's not exactly a currency, right?
I have a question I've been thinking about with mining. So I understand mining is necessary for, you know, the currency to function. It kind of like regulates and manages the transactions.
Yeah,
And I also know like it's
validates. Let's call
yeah,
them validates. It's a
validates, yeah.
validator, right? It validates. In the case of Bitcoin, it solves a complicated algorithm in order to validate, and the one that validates first is usually the one that gets the
Uh-huh.
reward.
So yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and the
there's also
reward
yeah.
and the reward is the native currency, the native token, in this case, Bitcoin.
So there's also incentive in the people mining it in terms of the rewards they get to
Yeah,
like which. So I was
that's,
wondering how
by the
does
way,
it work
same
when
thing that as a gold miner gets, right? The reward
yeah,
is the
yeah.
gold, right?
So I was wondering with the miners, like how does scalability work? So I understand if there's more people mining, the reward each person's going to get is typically going to be smaller. And I
Yeah,
know if no one's mining it, if there's zero miners, then the currency can't function.
that's
So
right.
if like
Well,
how does the
not
scale work?
exactly true. Actually, eventually, let's talk about the second part. It's
Yeah.
easier to say. Eventually, we're going to run out of Bitcoin mining, for example, and the system will have to transfer its capabilities to simply validating transactions, and no longer will it need to mine. No longer will it have the capabilities to mine. But you got to understand that both Bitcoin and other kind of systems is basic protocols, right? And then on top of that, that's kind of the layer one. On top of that, you have a layer two. And the layer two is where you get scalability, right? The layer two is where you can even move Bitcoin into the Ethereum network by you could wrap the Bitcoin and trade it on the Ethereum network, right? So the layer two is where you get like additional capabilities, right? And even at the layer one level, you could really, break apart the product, right? So there's the Bitcoin in the case of Bitcoin, and then the asset, and then there is Bitcoin, the network, right? So if you look at what El Salvador has done recently, they really thought about, well, how can we separate, right? How can we make remittances, right, of El Salvadorian living in the United States who want to move money from from New York, let's say, to El Salvador. Right now, under the current infrastructure, the legacy system, they have to pay as much as 30% to transfer the money. They can transfer the money for nothing using the Bitcoin network, right? And then they can transfer it immediately to dollars. So they don't even have to keep it in dollars, right? They can just immediately transfer it to dollars or euros or any other currency they want to and use it. So even the basic layer one, right, is
Mhm.
able to be separated into its subcomponents to get different things from it.
Yeah. Isn't that also kind of an example why some larger corporations, like something like Western Union, might actually be against Bitcoin? Because typically, if someone wanted to send money across borders,
Yep.
a company like Western Union would handle it, but they'd also take a big
Well,
cut.
so
So,
Western Union has the choice. Either they can join the network, which is I think what they should do,
mhm.
or they can try to compete and outdo the network. All banks, not just Western Unions, right? All banks, even JP Morgan and Merrill Lynch and Bank of America, eventually will need to make a choice whether they want to be part of the crypto system,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The ecosystem. And I can tell you that they want to. I can tell you that MasterCard recently did that. Visa recently did that. There's companies that,
PayPal's doing it as well.
yeah. So they realized that, it just wasn't big enough. And now that it's $1 trillion business, they're paying a little bit more attention and they realize, okay, we need to do something about it. It's no longer a theory. It's something that is going to destroy our business if we're not careful.
Mhm.
So the way to protect, okay, you could ask regulators to make laws that are tougher, so that to protectionism model, right? Lobby for protection, or you could say, if I can't beat them, and in the case of the Bitcoin network, I can't see how they can beat them. They should join them, right? So then this creates a whole bunch of new services. Like, for example, how do we do credit assessment to a crypto wallet, right? We know how to do credit assessment for fiat money, right? We have companies that do that, but we don't have companies. So now, by the way, I've joined a venture capital firm as a partner, where in Israel there's about 150 companies that are in this ecosystem, onboarding, offboarding, credit assessment, to see if there's corruption, tax evasion, all that stuff can happen through crypto. And there's companies that are now designed to manage that, to monitor that, and to report these things. I probably answered
Mm.
more than what you asked, but
Yeah.
okay. Keep
Uh,
asking, keep asking.
Another one. So
Yeah.
going back to El Salvador, I know that obviously they adopted Bitcoin as one of their national currencies, but also
Yeah.
I see that they were doing something with the Lightning network, so they have their own kind of
Yeah.
distribution. So
The
what it
Lightning
like,
Network, the Chivo
yeah.
wallets, that's all part of the infrastructure that is, basically leapfrogging the legacy infrastructure of the SWIFT and the American dollar.
Mhm.
And what, most of the international organizations, the IMF, the US agencies, US central banks, they feel that they're going to lose something if more countries will become El Salvador. So they're trying to warn them, they're trying to punish them. But just today, El Salvador ambassador to the United States mentioned that he's not going to be bullied by the international organizations, and they're on track and they're making progress. And I'll tell you, they have a huge support from the crypto community. I mean, eventually, I don't know if you all read Ayn Rand. For me, crypto and Bitcoin in particular is the libertarian ideal for money, right? It's essentially, the Ayn Rand view of what global business should be like, right? So, El Salvador is going to build a Bitcoin city where they will allow people to pay no tax and to live in this kind of crypto haven, that they could, and where it's happening in El Salvador. Where it's happening in Laos. Where it's not happening, recently, Norway, my home country, has banned crypto mining. A country where the energy is plentiful and clean, right? So you could see that the countries that weren't part of it are the countries that were out of the old legacy system, and they feel this is their chance to shine. This is their chance to catch up finally, rather than to be subjugated to U.S. foreign policy and the international organizations it represents.
Um, what do you think about like the discussion in terms of energy usage for crypto mining? Because I understand like if you look at the raw number, it does look like a very large amount of electricity, but like compared to like a traditional financial system, is it really that much, or is there ways to make it maybe cleaner by using clean energy? Like, what do you think about the general discussion on energy?
I think it's noise. I think it's irrelevant, and I think that a lot of it is just throwing sand in the engine. Trying to make it difficult for this industry to develop. So first of all, the only real problem is in proof of work, right? In terms of energy use. But also understand that this is what keeps the monetary system secure. So in order for us to have the most secure monetary system in the world, we need to expand energy. And that's fine. And by the way, it's no more energy than any other industry, right? It's no more energy than the current banking infrastructure. In fact, it's less energy than the current
Yeah, I
banking
think
infrastructure. It's no
it's
more
just
energy than any other gold industry, or for that matter, any other lighting industry, any other industry also. Every industry that creates value by necessity also uses energy to do so.
I
Even
always
universities, Eh,
attributed like kind of the hype around the energy with cryptocurrencies is the fact that it's just like so much easier to quantify. Like if you're, mining
exactly. But
cryptocurrency.
it's actually,
Yeah,
we know what the energy footprint of many industries, and if we
yeah,
put them on, if we put Bitcoin or the crypto on that list of energies, it's really not that
it's
much
easier to
worse.
find the total number, but it probably wouldn't be as much as people think something else might be. Um, Another question we have here in the chat is if countries will switch to crypto, how will they tax things?
Exactly the same way they do now. And there's no need to change the tax policy. Crypto is just another asset. You buy it, you buy it and you sell it, and you have profits or loss, and you can treat them from an IRS point of view exactly in the same way. And in
isn't
fact,
it by but
and
isn't it by intent? Isn't it
on
by
some
intent?
level,
Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
on some level, it's even easier to track it
Mhm.
because everything is on the blockchain. So the reality is, Bitcoin was designed. By the way, I don't know if all of you read the white paper on Bitcoin. It's by Satoshi Nakamoto. I think you should do that. Okay. For me, it's amazing how many people talk about it. Never read an 8-page paper. It's an 8-page paper. It's really short. It's not even written in extremely technical, difficult language, right? It's very easy to understand. So I highly recommend to do that. But the idea was to create some level of privacy from financial institutions, but at the same time, because it's on the blockchain, we know every single movement of money. So I'm working with a company, it's called Whitestream. It's a company that we're trying to take public soon. This company does exactly that. They work for the IRS and for the FBI and for anti-terrorist organization to find out exactly what wallets are being used and for what purpose. And because everything is immutable and unchangeable, once I know once I know the ownership of a particular address, a wallet address, I can pretty much tell you the whole thing, what happened, what money came in, what money come out, in a greater level of transparency than you would from the Bank of America, where maybe only the FBI will have a chance to look at it. Here, it's like everyone can look at it. So we have total transparency in the movement of money.
Do you think potentially there will be cryptocurrencies that can potentially adapt and kind of stay anonymous? Like I know there's Monero, which already becomes a lot more private than something like Bitcoin. Do you think like
Yeah, there is Monero, and there is just give me a second. I need to say something. Get ready. We're going. We're leaving in a couple of minutes, so just get ready. Okay, eat something. Yep. Sorry. Monero and Zcash are the private networks designed to maintain privacy, but I can tell you that privacy is an illusion. We know everything about people. We know now if they're lying when they're answering a survey about what they will do. We can measure their eye movements, and we can tell exactly, and eventually we're going to have full transparency in the world. I really believe it. Imagine how much information Google has on your Facebook. They would know if you're gay, they would know if you're rich, they would know everything about you. And imagine that there will be a data breach one day and everything will be out there, which is not if it will happen, it's when it will happen. And imagine what impact that would have on all the famous people in the world, or politicians in the world, or anything like that. So this idea of transparency is an illusion. Everything is known about you and everything is out there already.
so another interesting argument I've heard kind of regarding like the traceability, like some people have the impression that Bitcoin or something like that is completely anonymous. However, like you just said, if you know like who owns the wallet address, you can literally see every transaction that
Yeah,
they've had, like how much.
that's
So
right.
some
By
people
the
actually
way, so the company that I'm working with, they figured out how the Hamas terrorist organization received money and from whom and when and how they used this and where the monies went from, just by linking the deep searches in the internet and social
Mhm.
media to
They were using
particular
crypto.
addresses. Yeah.
Oh, uh-huh.
So a lot of terrorism now is done with crypto. But the nice thing is it's actually quite easy to monitor it if you have the right technologies. In fact, we're already on the verge of technologies that I can look at any wallet and I can tell you if it's a weapon dealer, it's a drug dealer, it's a tax evasion, or it's some kind of a corruption payment. That's
So
how
yeah,
much data we
I
have.
was gonna bring up
That's how sick it is, and there's companies, that's all they do. That's all they do. And they sell this information.
Mhm. So that's kind of an interesting case. So people, when they hear about the traceability, they always just assume that this would be something bad for maybe like drug dealers or arms dealers or people doing illegal activities. However, there was like an interesting argument I saw. Maybe like some actual government agencies might be against this for the same reason that like a criminal organization would be, because there's not like no government which isn't completely corruption free. So if they are doing some
But
type of like
listen, you leave
bribery
a
or
digital
collusion,
signature.
yeah, yeah. So
You're leaving like the
so
breadcrumbs
so
all
maybe,
along.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's really easy. Whereas I use cash. Cash is the best way to do if you want to do illegal stuff. By the way, okay. If you high school kids want to do illegal stuff, one thing you can learn: use cash. Cash is the best, right? Because there's no trace. When you use digital assets, there's always crumbs, right? There's always you leaving behind traces, digital traces of what you did.
Mhm. Inherently,
So
because
it's
like
so
that's
it's
how it
terrible.
operates. Yeah.
So it's terrible for crime. That's what I'm saying. It's not a good tool for crime.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. But I was just kind of saying, like, couldn't that be bad for some governments, maybe if they're also like operating, you know, there was like always conspiracy theories about like how the United States sold, weapons to like terrorist organizations. So
Yeah.
couldn't this kind of like expose maybe governments if it was to become the
Oh, do you know
adopted?
one of the things I've learned when I'm talking to this company, because they see the entire world movements of Bitcoin, and now they've really recently got into Ethereum,
Mhm.
that I didn't know, but they showed me on paper how much money moves between China and Russia using
Yeah,
cryptocurrencies.
yeah.
And I was just shocked because, in China it's illegal, right? So
Mhm.
why should it have any, right?
So yeah, yeah, it
So
could potentially expose.
in
Yeah.
fact, those governments can use the same networks as they
Mhm.
wish, right, to transfer monies, and they are going to use it. Everybody's going to use it. I mean, it's a tool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So companies
Because
are using it. I mean, I can tell you really, one of the inventions, there's a lot of innovation that will come from this system. For example, the idea of tokenizing. We can tokenize just about anything, and then we could digitize it, and then we could sell it on the network. So why can't I do that with real estate? Why can't I do it with stocks? Why can't I do it with singers? Now I'm working on a project with this VC firm that I just joined, where we're taking talent and we're tokenizing talent. Yeah, it's I don't know if you know Fans Only, or I don't know if you know these websites, but this idea that you can now sell anything you want directly to peer to peer, right? And using crypto.
I'm not too familiar with the subject. Are you referencing like NFTs, or is that something similar?
Not NFTs,
Not
but
NFTs.
the idea is that you could pretty much tokenize anything
Uh-huh.
and sell it over the internet.
Mhm.
Is an idea whose time has come and is just in the very beginning stages. That's what I'm trying to say. And all the different cryptocurrencies, I don't know, there's now over 50,000. All of them supposed to solve one particular problem. Bitcoin solves only one problem, which is value storage and the most secure network in the world. And that's an amazing problem to solve, right? If I'm in Venezuela and I want to move out of Venezuela and take my family and have a good life, there's no other tool that I could use that will allow me to move money out of Venezuela or Turkey or any one of the countries that you want to put in there that are now like in trouble. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Do you think like right now, like how it's currently being used, cryptocurrency is like meeting its potential? I'm assuming you're gonna say no, but like do you think it's gonna continue expanding, not just in terms of value or like in terms of trading volume,
Exponentially.
but yeah, do you think
The whole thing
yeah,
is going to grow like
uh-huh.
crazy. I'm telling you, I'm just working now on companies that have moved from being worth a few millions to, you know, hundreds of millions in a matter of less than a couple of years. And it's just the amount of wealth creation that will happen as a result of this tokenization of the economy is going to be nothing less than the internet revolution that your father probably remembers and you don't because you were born into it, right? I mean, we are on the cusp of the next kind of big technological revolution, and it's underpinned by crypto ecosystem. So it's the biggest relevant echo of the internet, let's say.
Could it be just a bubble, like another tulip mania?
Yes, of course. Yeah. No, it's not tulip. It's a bubble for sure, right? And it will crash for sure. But just was the, you know, I don't know, many of you are too young maybe to remember the internet bubble, but you guys remember the internet bubble, right?
Of course.
And then it crashed.
1990s.
And it cleaned, and what the crash has done is got out of the weak players. But at that point, Amazon and Google and all these firms that were losing money were still around. And people would say, I remember this conversation. People say that I'm making money. What's the point? It is the bubble. Don't invest in them. It's just all hype. You know, people selling websites for millions of dollars. How is that possible? Right? At the end of the day, now we know that didn't go away. It became even bigger. Only a few winners took everything, and probably the same will happen. Probably the top 20, 30 cryptos that are out there will survive, at least some of them. Bitcoin for sure, Ethereum for sure, and probably another 10 or 20 cryptos will do quite well. And that will be the end of it. Winner takes it all in this business, right?
So you don't think it's too late to get in if you haven't yet? You think there's still opportunity?
We're just early stage mass adoption.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We're still early. We're not early stage, like, I don't know what the hell is going to go next year, but we know it's not going to go away. We know it's going to go through ups and downs. And we know it's going to be bigger and bigger part of everybody's life.
So do you think if someone did want to engage with it and incorporate cryptocurrency into their life, would the best way be to simply invest in it, like buy some coins?
There's so many ways you could do that. Are you familiar with the Spotify?
Yeah.
Okay, are you familiar with Audius?
No, not.
Okay, so Audius is Spotify for creators who don't have a record label and want to just earn Audius crypto for their services. Are you familiar with the Internet of Things?
Yeah.
Well, there is a cryptocurrency called Helium that allows you to provide internet, long distance internet connection that you can connect to your own internet device and earn money from your own internet by being part of this network. Are you familiar with Chrome?
Yeah.
Well, there is a BAT system that you can have your own browser where every time you watch an advertisement, you make a little bit of cryptocurrency called BAT, the BAT cryptocurrency.
I've heard something similar to that really quickly is there's an interesting way potentially if you own or operate a website to monetize. So like the traditional way would just be run ads on the side of the screen. And when people see the ads and click on it, you get some money paid. So like it makes sense to run your website. I've heard another way, if some people want to have like the website, but also make money from it, but not have any ads on there, they could also have like actual like small, really light crypto miners running on the website. So the person browsing, like, their experience isn't affected because it's using so little CPU. But if you have many visitors, like many millions, they can actually still generate a significant amount of money for your website without having to run ads. So that's like another potentially different way to monetize than what someone would do traditionally.
So there are so let's just say that there's about 10 or 20 different ways that you could already integrate into the crypto economy. And obviously one of them is investing in crypto. But again, this tokenization of people, this is something I'm working on a project big with the VC firm that I'm working with. We're building a firm that will allow stars to sell tokens of themselves that eventually you can, if you have a lot of tokens of that star, you can meet them, or you can have private conversations with them, or you can hype them up in social media, and if the star becomes more famous, your tokens become more expensive, and then you could sell those tokens for profit. So there's going to be so many ways, I can't enumerate ways. And every day I find a new one, there's just no end. Because entrepreneurs out there are thinking every day of new ways of using the blockchain technology to creating native currencies, or what we call native tokens, to work on the blockchain and to incentivize behavior. It could be something like picking up garbage. Could be something like, I mean, there's so many ways that you could use this technology to incentivize people to do certain things. And it's something that, like, you know, your father can appreciate the theory of the firm, which is really the reason that we have firms is to reduce transaction costs. And if you look at the DAO, right, if you look at these automatic market makers, right, we can actually run companies without companies. This is, again, it's the first time in history that we're able to do these things. It's like we can think beyond the company in ways of organizing work and incentives. This didn't happen until now because it wasn't possible.
Is
Follow me?
Is that the smart contract thing that you're talking about? Like, it comes up all the time in the context of Bitcoin, smart contract. Can you explain what that is? Is it this token economy that you're talking about, or is it something
Yes,
else?
of course I can. A smart contract, by the way, I'm going into an elevator, so if I get cut off. A smart contract is basically a program that says, if you perform X, you will get paid Y, okay? It's a regular contract, only it doesn't require
So we may lose Ilan here for a second while he's in the elevator. Maxim, can you explain that? Do you know anything about smart contracts?
So yeah, I guess any contract.
Did you hear me? Did you hear everything I said?
No, we missed maybe the last 15 seconds, 20
Okay,
seconds.
so let me just give you an example. I'm working now, I met this company, and they developed a way to retroactively fund and pay people. So let's just say Kickstarter. Kickstarter has this, you know, you can invest, crowdfund, invest in particular projects, right? So let's just say that you're investing in these particular projects. You assume that they will deliver something, right? What if I had a smart contract where if it's not delivered, you know, the money goes in there to a fund, and when it's delivered, if it's delivered, the money is then released. Okay, this is a smart contract. Let me give you another example.
So
Right now, if you
how does-
transfer wine from country X to country Y, you could have in your contract that the wine needs to be at a certain temperature in order for you to get paid. Well, what if we had sensors, okay, and these sensors were stuck in the container, and automatically it will be the price will be changed as a result of changes in the temperature in the container without human intervention. Or what if we had a missed flight insurance, and instead of having to call somebody, the system automatically looks for all the missed flights, all the canceled flights, and rewards those people who have insurance automatically without them having to call in and ask for the money for the missed flights or missed luggage or anything else, really, or life insurance, or it could be a million things, right? And it's like, why many times we don't need the human intervention. The machine can do the verification, right? And payments will be made based on some deliverables.
Mhm.
So this is the idea of the smart contracts.
So I guess like the simplest definition is like a contract is an agreement between two people with like a mediating third party to kind of make sure the terms are met. So in this case, the third party that's kind of managing the terms of the contract would be the blockchain.
Is
So
not
kinda-
needed. Exactly right.
Yeah.
The person managing the contract will be a machine
Yeah. Yeah.
or an algorithm or what we call it, a program, right? So it's putting a program on top of the money. It's programmable money.
I see.
It's
Okay.
it's money that you could program. And by the way, the digital currency that China is proposing is going to also be programmable money. Only it's not going to be decentralized because it's China. But one of the things that they're going to do, imagine the country's ability to create stimulus, where instead of giving everybody $7,000 as Biden just did, they would say, okay, the hotel industry needs money, and therefore we will give you money that is only good for 1 month and can only be used in the entertainment and hotel industry. Imagine how much better stimulus policies of the government will be if we had programmable money. So,
It could be very
so
targeted.
smart contracts are
It's
simply
really
said programmable money.
This is mind-boggling. I mean, I never thought about it. I mean, these are very, very interesting new applications, guys.
Vas, I can't hear you very loud. Can you speak a
No,
little
no,
louder?
I'm saying that this is mind-boggling. I thought I knew something about crypto. I mean, these applications you're describing, this is amazing. Like I didn't know.
And it's just the beginning. And then I'm telling you, 150 companies I'm doing due diligence on right now in Israel only. And they're all taking part of this, some part of this ecosystem, solving some problem in a way that is just much better than before. And it allows people to design new business models that weren't available before with programmable money. So for example, Vas, you will appreciate this project and maybe you can help me. One of the VC firms that I'm working with, they want to change the VC model into a token-based model. They want to create their own model, right? Where tokens are integrated to every stage of the VC process, and thereby allowing more people to participate in this early stage seed VC investment cycles. How cool would that be?
That can completely
And how
change the
cool if
industry.
every project will have a token, and
Yeah,
then the overall VC company will have a token that you can exchange to the project level token.
Yeah, for the students listening here, so VC, that's venture capital. And so one of the big challenges in venture capital, like when you invest in a company, is essentially monitoring everything, what's going on and being paid on time. But also it's not so easy to join if you're not part of a VC firm. So what Ilan here is describing is that, yeah, it can allow many, many more people to participate in investing in early stage companies, but also monitoring of those contracts essentially, right, becomes automated. Is that what you mean?
And also incentivize people to provide information into the VC process and reward them with tokens associated with that.
But how soon? I mean, what you're talking about is it's like literally like sci-fi level. I mean, are we talking about next year or in 25
It's
years?
so happening right now.
Is it?
This is why I'm here in Israel. This is happening here in this country, big time. The development, the R&D. And it just like blowing my mind. Exactly, you thought it's something from the future, but it's happening now. And this tokenization of stars, it hasn't been announced. I can't tell you which companies are involved with that. The big record companies are involved with that. And I can also tell you that it's happening in the next couple of years. We will have tokens for stars, where you can invest in them and then you can promote them. You could pump the star, and think about how good it is for the star too, right? The star also gets the benefit. By the way, you might have heard of there's a new currency just came out. For those of you who like sports, it's called Chili's. Have you ever heard of it? It's a currency that allows you to sponsor your team, your NFL team, or one of the sports teams that you want, to do the things that you want them to do. So here we have the customer or the fan gathering money for the team or the celebrity to do something. And if they want to do it and take the money, and if they don't want to do it, the money can just be returned to the people who put the money up. How cool is that?
So
Cool.
I guess the point so there's potentially like a lot more applications to crypto that are either just beginning to be utilized or just, in the planning stages.
It's hardly even the beginning. It's just the
Yeah.
beginning of the beginning. It's just like we don't even know what the full capabilities. Every
I-
day I talk to entrepreneurs that are blowing my mind away with these ideas that they came up with, in terms of entrepreneurial ventures. I mean, and they're turning them from an idea to an operating business within 2-3 years. And from an operating business to a multi-million-dollar business, this Chili's token, take a look at this Chili's token, okay? They have an app, it's called Socios. Download this app. By the way, while you're downloading this app, download this app called Odious and see that we have Spotify that is entirely run on a peer-to-peer basis with cryptocurrency. How cool is that? We no longer need Spotify. Every artist can put they don't have the people who block them. Every artist can put their stuff in, and if it's good, and if people like it, they will start making money.
Really quickly, we have a few questions in chat, if you don't mind answering. So one is, what do you think about like the kind of the large scale influencers, someone like Elon Musk, who can actually have like very drastic effects on the price just by, like making a tweet or voicing their opinion? Like, what do you think about people who have that much influence when there isn't like a regulating body to potentially limit like what they can do just, you know, through
Yeah,
their
lucky them. They can pump and dump, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's called pump and dump. It's illegal in the stock market, but currently it's still legal in the crypto market, right?
Yeah, there's not
It's
really
called
like
pump and dump
a
schemes.
regulating agency that can
So,
actually
yeah, so you have like a wild, wild west mentality now, and it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think some regulation is coming. By the way, if you want to know more about cryptocurrency, I suggest take Gary Gensler's course, who is in charge of the SEC now. He taught a course in MIT, and it's open access. I took these courses. It helped me a lot to understand what the hell is going on. And it's just, it's really, really good. And it will give you a really good base to understanding it. And also, by the way, read Satoshi Nakamoto 8-page white paper. It's really worth your time. Just to kind of start with a good baseline. Do these two things.
I think we do have it posted somewhere in the chat. If people want to read it, it is over there. How long will it take for cryptocurrencies to replace physical money? Do you think? Like, I
It's
don't know
already
if that is-
happened. What do you mean? It's already
Yeah,
happening.
that is true. Yeah, look at El Salvador. Do you think it
Yeah,
is
it's already
realistic?
happening. The question is, how long before we get to 100%?
Yeah,
Probably never, because we still need cash. But we were going to get to some critical level, I think, within the next 5 years.
yeah. I
It's
think eventually
already, it's
there will be
moving
a
up so
point where,
fast. Look how
yeah,
fast it's going
yeah.
up. Look, we have a $3 trillion industry. In my opinion, it will be 10, 20 trillion dollars within 5 years. I mean, where can you get that kind of growth? There's almost nothing.
That is true. It is pretty volatile. It has its ups and downs, but I think if you look at like the average return you get per month, like over the past few years, it
Yeah.
is very, very, very
It's
high in
massive.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
It's massive. Well, some people call it bubble, but the bubble happens for a reason. Sometimes it's only hype. Sometimes there's a real change in the world.
It looks like we have someone asking for kind of investment advice. He says, if you have 100 euros to spend right now, what cryptos would you buy?
So there's two ways to go about it. I'm going to make this the last question because I need to go to the doctor now, and
All
then
right,
we
yeah,
could do it
yeah.
again if you want.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
The easiest way, if you just want to get your, feet wet, is just buy some Bitcoin, BTC. Or you could buy, there's Cryptex. It's actually a currency. It's actually a crypto that has all the crypto in it. It's a kind of a mutual fund, if you will.
Do you
crypto, or
recommend a
ETF.
platform, like a platform people should use to buy?
I use all the platforms. Right now, they're all charge way too much money, in my opinion. And but eventually the cost will be zero. They will sell information just like they do with the stock market. They will just sell the information. But right now, they all are bad. I use several of them, and I don't like any of them really. They all charge at least 3%. It's too much.
Yeah, it's against the original intention for crypto when they start charging the fees and everything. So,
all right, guys,
yeah.
I just need to go right now. I'm sorry. I'd love to do it
problem,
again.
yeah.
Happy to do it again. Vas, I hope this was somewhat helpful and that I was able to convince you, because Vas was, one of the things that
He's
he
a
told me.
skeptic. He's a
he said to me,
skeptic.
it's only a database. And I wanted to say to him that money is only paper, right? So
Yeah.
it's the same. It's all databases at the end.
It's not fair. It's 2 against 1. So we have 2 crypto believers versus me. So I guess I'll lose. So, but yes,
I even offered your dad a formal debate online. So it's just one-on-one debate.
So we'll invite.
And I offered it to my brother, who has a PhD in economics. He has a bachelor's from Harvard, master's from London School of Economics, and a PhD from what's the name? Chicago. Now the one went by Chicago. I can't remember. And he even is unwilling to do that because he doesn't want to be on record arguing against crypto, right?
Northwest.
It's going to ruin your career. 10 years from now, you're going to look like an idiot. It's on YouTube and you can't change it.
Good.
So be careful. Be careful debating this issue.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ilan. I especially was surprised how many applications are here beyond simply money. So like all those tokens and smart contracts, and this is very interesting. That's where I see a lot of promise. So
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Maxim, I have a question for you. So we have here some ex-culture students who may not be as knowledgeable in this area as your Crypto Club members are. So
Yeah.
buying and selling crypto, if you were to recommend a platform, what do you use personally? And maybe what would be the easiest way for people to buy crypto or sell crypto or invest in crypto? Kind of practical advice.
So there's I guess you're gonna need first a wallet. There's many different ways to do it. There's one way where you get your wallet and then simply you just find where you want to buy the currencies from to add to your wallet and then hold it, sell it, trade it, do what you want with it as an investment. But there's also different companies which basically let you invest without having to really interact. Like I use PayPal. So here when you buy it, it makes it very easy. If you have money in your PayPal, you can click one button and then buy Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. So they have a few options there. But the advantage of this is of buying on something like a platform like PayPal is it makes it very easy and very quick and also pretty minimal fees, but you don't really actually earn the cryptocurrency. Like if you buy crypto through PayPal, if it goes up 20%, you'll make a 20% return and then you can like sell it and keep the profits into physical cash very easily and whenever you want. But you're not really like owning cryptocurrency. You just own like the like
Like
the ad,
shares.
yeah, like the shares basically. Like you don't have a wallet, you can't trade it, you can't send it to another wallet, but they own like kind of the rights. Or if you own $100 in Bitcoin, you own the rights to it. So if it goes up 20%, you can keep the 20% profit. But there's really like
So do I
many
understand
platforms.
correctly that PayPal then is not so much for using it, but rather for investing in it?
Simply for investing, yeah, you can't use it.
Ah, I
So
didn't
there's
know that.
platforms like that where you can't really use it, but you can invest in it. Like Robinhood would also be pretty similar. But if you do also want to invest in it and use it or, actually own the Bitcoin, then you can just use a wallet. Like, so there's in the chat, someone talking about hot wallets and cold wallets. You can, make here, there's like, I can't really even give advice because there's 1,000 different ways to do it, but you can download one on your computer. If you have a computer, you can download one on your phone. There's some that exist like online where you don't have to download anything and it's just in a website. There's physical wallets where you have like a physical kind of like little USB device which holds like the keys to your wallet so you can't really forget them. You just have to hold the physical device to access it. So there's like many different ways. And like I guess now it is going to be easier than it would have been maybe 5 years ago because it is a lot more mainstream. So there are companies kind of targeting the market and making it providing platforms where it's pretty easy to do. So I don't know if I could really give you the best way to do it.
So for example, this student here, Enzo, who says, if I had 100 euros and wanted to invest it, so what would be the exact steps he needs to take to start investing in crypto, if that's, his intention?
I think the absolutely easiest way to do it is if they have PayPal, then you can just, I'm not sure if it's available in every region. I'm sure it is. But at least for me, when I log into PayPal, I have my balance, like how much is in the wallet. And then there's another tab that just says crypto. You click on crypto, there's 4 different options. I can just choose Bitcoin, put in 100 euros, and then that's really all there is to it. There's not, that's one way, but there's,
Do they charge anything like when you,
yeah, it's a flat fee. I think it's like $5 or $10.
so there is
It's
a
not
fee.
very much, yeah. But
Hmm.
if you're making like if it's going up and down like 1 or 2% even per day, which isn't that much, that's already going to be more than the fee. So I wouldn't consider that too much.
Mhm. Well, interesting. So guys, please do invite me to your next, future meetings. And maybe again, if you don't mind, maybe we can open the meetings for all Culture students, not only the club members. So in case they want to learn more. And by the way, talking about your crypto club, I know that's your high school thing, but would it be okay for Culture students outside your school to join? I mean, would that be an option for them, or is it a closed club?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna go speak with the some like my counselor at the school. I want to figure out some more details, but I can uh let you know soon.
Mhm. So people asking here, I've seen comments for your contacts. Apparently they want to talk more to you. So I'm not sure if you want to put it in the chat. I think everybody who's registered, I will have the contacts. So, and yes, Enzo, they do use Discord normally. So since the speaker was from one of the Culture professors, so I insisted on Zoom that we know, but yeah, I'm sure it will be easy to get in touch. So we have your contacts, Max, and we'll reach back to you then. Oh, he already put it in the, Maxim, the only thing is you put it for the host and panelists, not for the participants. So if you want to share it publicly, you might want to post it again to all. So, but anyway, so let's stop here. Thank you so much. Very interesting. Thank you for including the X-Culture crowd in your meeting. So I'm sure people would be interested in learning more in the future as well. And yeah, good luck with your investment and learning. So, okay, I'm going to stop the meeting now. Anything else, Maxim, we need to say before we go?
I believe for now that's it. Yeah. So this was kind of just a more of an introductory meeting where we kind of talk about answer questions so people can kind of learn more about the topic. But I think the biggest differences for future meetings is we're going to try and follow more of like a kind of active role, active engagement, where we find activities and stuff we can actually do rather than just talk about. So I guess that's something you can look forwards to if you want to come to the future meetings. But other than that, I think that's it. No, that should be there was some good discussion, but I think yeah, that should be it.
Well, thank you so much for inviting X-Culture to your meeting. And if you need more speakers in the future, I'm sure some of our professors will be willing to share their knowledge and experience as well. Yep. Nice weekend to everyone. Thank you so much. And
Yeah, thank you.
maybe see you sometime in the future.
Yeah.